From Homestead Media, this is HHS In Depth.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about many policy changes to the school system this year. One of the main processes is using contact tracing to help limit the spread of the virus. Coming up, find out how this method is implemented at SACS schools.
Plus, with the Allen County currently under the color code of red, that means major changes for the attendance of both athletics and performing arts. Ahead, learn more about the procedures our school follows based on the county's color code. Those stories and more straight ahead. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Michelle Biama.
And I'm Nada DeHook. With SACS continuing to make both middle school and high school students stay home for virtual learning, that brings about changes for our extracurricular activities as well. To learn more about how Allen County's color code can affect our attendance policies, here's HHS In Depth reporter Jenna Lane with more about Homestead's athletics policies for attendance.
The recent closure of secondary Southwest Allen County schools have brought on some new changes for Spartan athletics. The latest developments are built on a system revolving around colored stages based upon the Indiana Department of Health's COVID-19 county distribution map. The 4 stages, red, orange, yellow, and blue, determine who's allowed in attendance and how many tickets are permitted per rostered athlete. Currently, Allen County is in the red stage, which states that there will be no fans in attendance at any Homestead home event, and only essential personnel will be admitted. However, if we were to move down to the orange stage in the future, athletes would be given up to 2 tickets for family, depending on the event. As we move forward, Homestead Athletics will continue to adapt according to the Indiana Department of Health's county map, so be sure to check for the latest updates every Wednesday. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Jenna Lane.
And now for a look at how Homestead's performing arts attendance are affected by the county's color code. Here's HHS In Depth reporter Cora Shaw.
The policies for fans in the stands for performing arts will look very similar to the sports guidelines. Similar to sports, performing arts will have no fans allowed in the building during performances as of now. Non-essential personnel will not be allowed to attend competitions, and groups will be in and out of the host building, only coming in to warm up and perform. After performances, competing schools will leave the facility immediately to ensure minimal contact between competing schools. Gaps will be built into the performance schedule to allow for cleaning and to limit traffic between the groups. Award ceremonies will be held online, and the use of live streaming for performances will be especially important this year. Based on the possible influx of change in COVID-19 cases, all plans are subject to change at any point. It is obvious in the arts and sports that this is a year it is especially important to be flexible and understanding of the policies that have to be put in place to ensure performances can still carry on even without fans in the stands. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Cora Shaw.
The Biomedical Science Club will host Bailey Wills, a forensic scientist from the Indiana State Police Department, next Wednesday, December 9th, virtually. They will meet from 2:45 to 3:30 p.m. Use the virtual link posted on the homepage of the Biomed Club's Canvas page. If you have any questions or are interested in a membership form, email Mrs. Behrens at the address shown here.
Interact Club will continue to meet virtually on Wednesdays at 2:45 p.m. Contact Mrs. Dean to receive the Zoom link at the email shown here.
Contact tracing is a term not many have heard of prior to the COVID-19 pandemic.
HHS In Depth reporter Carly Flanagan is in now with more on how SACS goes about contact tracing when informed of a positive case within the building.
Throughout this first semester, you may have received a letter from SACS about possible exposure to the COVID-19 virus. As a school district, SACS works very hard to keep everyone safe, and a way to do this is by contact tracing.
Once we've identified the person who has tested positive for COVID, it either goes back from their test date or when they started having symptoms. And from there, you go back 48 hours or 2 days, and that is their infectious period. From there, we rely on the school administrators to talk to teachers and staff. So administrators go, they measure the desks, they look at seating charts at lunches, whether there's, an extracurricular activity, whether you're on a bus, and it really, a close contact with or without a mask is 6 feet for 15 minutes.
As a part of contact tracing, both high-risk and low-risk letters are sent out to students and their families who have been exposed. High-risk letters require students to quarantine, and low-risk letters encourage students to be aware and self-monitor. These are intended to inform you, not scare you, as SACS does their best to keep everyone safe and healthy. Although these letters are informative, many families can be confused as to what each letter means.
Isolation is specific to the person who tested positive. That means that they need to be away from their family. Quarantine means you stay home. You're not going to the store with mom and dad. You can't go to restaurants. No more extracurricular. If you're in basketball, you can't go to basketball practice, and you stay home from school. The low risk, we say, kind of just go about your daily business. You go to school, you do all those normal things, but just continue to do all those mitigating factors of wearing your mask, washing your hands, and monitoring for symptoms.
It is important to remember that being in quarantine does not mean you are sick. It is simply put in place after high exposure to ensure that you don't spread the virus. To keep everyone informed, SACS works closely with staff members and makes accuracy a major concern.
Some of the things that I think students don't understand when administrators or teachers are looking at contact tracing, they do get their tape measure out and measure 6 feet. They want to be accurate. When we do contact trace, we're very thorough. So we do not put kids in quarantine or staff members in quarantine that don't need to be. We want kids on campus because we believe this is good stuff where you learn. And so we're very accurate when we do our contact tracing.
As we return to school next semester, SACS plans on continuing the contact tracing process to keep students and staff safety as a top priority. If you are still unsure of the precautions you should be taking, you can always go online to the Allen County Health Department's website. Reporting for HHS In Depth, I'm Carly Flanagan.
I'm Ashton Ackman. The Homestead construction project continues to move swiftly. Coming up, get a first look inside the new building.
You're watching HHS In Depth with Michelle Obiama and Nada Duhook.
Welcome back. I'm Michelle Biama. This past Wednesday, Homestead High School hosted a press conference to unveil more details and artist renderings of the new Homestead building project. HHS In Depth reporter Ashton Ackman was at that press conference, and he joins us now with an update. Good afternoon, Ashton.
Hey, Michelle, with the switch to virtual learning, the Homestead construction project has been able to move swiftly. And now as we get towards the end of the year, crews are ready to move on to the next phase of construction. At the press conference Wednesday, district officials, along with architects from CSO and MKM, released a revised schedule and a progress update. With the work done so far, the project is slated to begin phase 2 before the end of the year. The phase consists of the new athletic and performing arts areas. An updated floor plan was released with highlighted areas showing the phase 2 construction locations. New interior renderings were also released, including the new main competition gym and adjacent auxiliary gym. Renderings of the new auditorium and separate multi-purpose facility were also released. The project will continue into phase 3 beginning October of next year, and construction is still set to be completed for the 2024-2025 school year. Nada.
All right, Ashton, thank you for the update. Poetry Out Loud is a national competition that Homestead has been involved with for many years, and in recent competitions, Homestead has placed very highly, but not many students know a lot about what the program is.
Poetry Out Loud is a national poetry reciting competition. It starts at the school level. The winner of the school competition goes to the state level. The winner of the state level competition, among getting some prizes, reward money for books, they get to go to Washington, D.C. for the national competition in the spring.
And every student has a different reason for joining this unique competition.
Poetry Out Loud just seemed like a really interesting way to combine like my interests in like literature and reading, and like kind of allows you to be a little theatrical in your performance and like dramatic. My favorite part about competing is like just getting to know the poems so well that you are able to connect with them, and then like performing them feels so confident. And
So when people first think, that you guys can only do 2 poems, the first question is usually, what 2 poems? I mean, there's thousands of poems to choose from. So what's your specific process that you go through that decides, what's the perfect poem to choose that's going to do me best in the competition?
Yeah, so it was a really long process just to find the perfect 2 poems, as you said. The Poetry Out Loud website actually has a database that helps us narrow down the poems that we are interested in. I was interested in doing some poems on social commentary or finding different poems that would reflect a more serious topic and a more lighthearted topic, which is honestly how I chose my own poems.
If you're interested in the program for next year, you can find videos of past competitions online at Poetry Out Loud's website to learn more about it.
Turning to weather now, it feels like winter is here for good, but are there any signs of a warm-up coming soon?
Sean Ross joins us now to break down what we can expect to see the rest of the weekend. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Nada. Taking a look at the weather for today. It's still going to be a bit chilly, but today is actually the warmest day of the weekend. Look for partly cloudy skies and a high of 42. Tomorrow starts the cool down as both Saturday and Sunday look to be about the same in terms of temperatures, with highs reaching the mid to upper 30s. Shouldn't see any precipitation over the weekend, but there is a small chance for some on Saturday. All in all, a very cold weekend, so you may want to stay inside.
All right, thank you, Sean. Next in sports, the boys basketball team had to wait an extra week, but got their season underway this past Tuesday.
There's more HHS in depth to come after this break.
Welcome back. I'm Ashton Ackman. The boys basketball team had to wait an extra week, but finally got their season tipped off this past Tuesday against Huntington North. The Spartans got on the board early off this offensive rebound and put back by junior Andrew Leeper. Then the threes began raining down in Spartan Arena. First at sophomore Kyron Kaupuiki with a three from the left baseline, and then Luke Goody finds Fletcher Lawyer, who drains the three from the right wing, and the Spartans were up early on the Vikings by 8. Off the steal, Lawyer leads the fast break and finds Leeper for an easy 2, part of the Spartans' 22-5 run to pull out to a big lead over Huntington North in the second. But the story of the night belongs to Luke Goody, who with this three-pointer in the second quarter became only the 10th Spartan to ever score 1,000 career points. And Goody sealed the deal in the second half with this layup as Homestead starts their season with a victory 64-50 over Huntington North. Boys are in action again tonight at home against Warsaw, but boy, a huge girls basketball game tonight as well against the team up north. Just a reminder that the girls have never lost an SAC regular season game, so it should be a fantastic matchup. Tip-off is set for 7:30. That's all for sports. Sean has a final check of the weather when we come back.
For all of next week, the good news is that we won't see any snow or rain. The bad news is there won't be any kind of warm-up for us to enjoy the outdoors. Pretty much the same story all week long, as each day's high will be between the upper 30s or lower 40s under partly cloudy skies each day. However, we can expect breezy conditions every day, making it feel even colder than what it is. If you're late to putting up Christmas lights outside, I'd say your best bet is to wait until the midweek, where we will see the warmest days outside.
All right, Sean, thank you. And thank you for watching today.
Don't forget the Homestead Spartans boys basketball team will be in action tonight against Warsaw. You can catch all the action on Homestead Live. Tip-off is set for 7:30 p.m. with Matt Solfrank and Chris Corman on the call.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here next week.